All right. Morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Trading Bitcoin with your host, Tone Vays. We're going back to the normal format of a quick overview of the price of Bitcoin, a little bit of politics, and I have exactly 30 minutes. So let's do it. All right. Really wanted to talk to Mechanic the other day about the mempool, but I'll get him back on again soon, and we will discuss it then. Okay. Monthly chart. I can't believe it's already 21st of March. By the way, yesterday for me was the official anniversary of the lockdown. The reason why March 20th is the official anniversary of lockdown is that's the day I arrived back in America. I flew out of Africa on March 19th. I got the last flight, the last seat on the last flight. It wasn't cheap. It took me 36 hours to get home from Pretoria, South Africa. I had to go, through Johannesburg, through Cape Town, and then a direct flight from Cape Town to the US. And then I locked myself down for about a month. Into late April, and I took it seriously, wearing a mask. And then after about a month or like 2 or 3 weeks into it, I realized something was wrong. And by May, I thought that the world has gone nuts. And here we are 2 years later. I want to talk more about that, but I've already diverted from what I'm supposed to be doing. So here's the triangle. We're still in the triangle. That is still a bullish sign. We have not yet broken the intermediate moving average, and it can still happen. But for now, this is, a small little grassroots of bullishness, but we're not even close to creating a bullish count on the MRI. Well, maybe we're a little close, but not that close. This is the weekly chart. The weekly chart has flipped into a new week. The week has closed strong, but it has not broken any critical level of resistance. Now, the probability is good that we will break this level of resistance at $42,500. Does that mean the bull market is back at the break of $42,500? Personally, I don't think so. We still have not gotten a green star candle on the MRI, which we will if we break 42,500. But I would need to see a little bit more for us to get into that $45,000 range before I throw in the towel completely on sub $30,000 Bitcoin price. Here's our allocation chart. I am waiting for one final factor. That one final factor is the crossover of the moving averages, which will happen in 10.5 hours. But in these 10.5 hours, depending on what the stock market does, we can crash and go all the way back down. So I will remain absolutely patient. I will remain patient. Now, here's what happens. Last night, we fell to about, I have to go to a lower level time frame. Let me go to the daily chart to see how far we fell last night. Last night, we fell to the 50-period moving average, right there at 40,500. And that was probably the best time for me to exit this 20% bearish position right there, right at the moving average before it bounced back up. But I was hanging out, having dinner with old friends, and I wasn't live streaming, right? Because remember, I put all of these labels on during the 30 minutes that I actually happened to live stream. And I will be live streaming at this time tomorrow, maybe a little bit earlier, hopefully. And when I see these moving average cross, I will then convert to a full cash position. Would I enter a bullish position? No, I'm going to wait until one more candle. I really want to see what happens with these moving average crossovers. I really want to see Bitcoin go above 43, 44,000. And at that level, I can just go full 80% long, right? I'm tired of getting flip-flopped around. This is it, right? I will now wait for a full conviction. And instead of, lagging in pieces, it's going to be a bigger chunk when everything starts to look bullish. And right now, I still don't like it. I don't like this consolidation. I'm not absolutely positive where it's going to go. If you read Willy Woo's newsletter, I know it's about to end. He has one more month. I think he's going to end it in May, end of May or something. You know what his views are. He's been bearish. He's been bullish. And so have I. And right now, I am in a wait and see mode. The daily chart is on an MRI warning. The problem is it's going to be very difficult to get a full proper MRI sell. We can get it. The price of Bitcoin needs to be above $42,000 tomorrow in order to get that MRI sell. But the MRI sell is going to happen in an area of consolidation in a way that is very bullish. Had yesterday's candle been the opposite, had yesterday's candle dropped how much? $1,000. Had yesterday's candle gone up $1,000, closing us above 43,000. Whoa. Something big just fell and I have no idea what it was. I don't think this apartment's been broken into. Oh. No one is jumping. No one's trying to attack me yet, so shit. Yeah, you guys probably didn't hear that, but it was a pretty loud noise. I'll figure it out later. It's okay. If my life was in danger, it would have been in danger already, like within 15 seconds. I'll figure out what it is later. Okay, so running out of time. I got 2 more minutes. So had yesterday's candle been a $1,000 upswing, then I would have seen today's candle and tomorrow's candle as a topping area for a pullback down to the 50-period moving average, which would have been a big pullback from about 43.5 down to about 40.5. But we already pulled back to the 50-period moving average. And now the MRI top is happening in consolidation. MRI top happening in consolidation is more bullish than bearish. And therefore, there's a high likelihood that we will go higher and test the $44,000 area, which is now going to be the combination of the horizontal channel and the 128-day moving average. The 4-hour chart is on an MRI buy. The MRI buy is happening after it has already rebounded. So you can see how we hit the low multiple candles ago. This is not the best time to just, jump long on a 4-hour trade, 4-hour candle trade. And right now we're sitting at the moving average. This is still, however, more bullish than bearish. And finally, the 1-hour chart. That's a beautiful breakout above this consolidated double top. And this is a big consolidation. And once we break above this consolidation of 42,000, we can really take off towards that 44.5. Okay, done with Bitcoin. How is GBTC doing? As you can see, Bitcoin, oh no, wait, we're still in the pre-market. We haven't opened yet. But once Bitcoin breaks out, I expect this GBTC premium to seriously evaporate because GBTC shares have probably landed in the hands of hodlers. Just like people are scooping up Bitcoin for hodling purposes, the whole thing is being mimicked in the GBTC market. There is no official spot ETF left, and people will arbitrage this negative premium away unless Barry Silbert's been hacked. Okay, so right now there's 30% extra, 25% extra Bitcoin backing GBTC shares, which is insane. And that's why I expect this premium to eventually evaporate. Hey guys, if you want to support this channel, go to tonevays.com, products and services. You can purchase an on-demand video that helps you learn how to trade. You can also purchase the MRI indicator. And there's also an MRI alert service, which I will be talking about a lot more in the coming months, a lot more. Oh, and if you're a trader, come join us at the Financial Summit in the Dominican Republic. I'll be talking a lot more about that soon too. Oh, there it is. There's oil. The price of oil is once again rising, and we are on pace to where I expected us to be going. Okay, next, gold. Gold is not doing anything, but just like oil and pretty much all commodities, I am very, very bullish over the rest of the year. What is this? This is the S&P 500 on a daily scale. Where are we here? Wow, look at that. The S&P 500 is rising. It is about to break a very critical area of resistance. Once it breaks this MRI resistance line, I believe the S&P 500 will break out to new all-time highs. I believe the US markets are still seen as safe havens, and the United States actively confiscating wealth from foreigners that they don't like has not seemed to deter other foreigners that they may not like in the near future from parking their money in the United States. That is very, very strange to me, but this is why you trade the charts and not opinions, and the charts are certainly bullish. And this weekly MRI buy could not have called the market any better. This could be one of the best calls of the year in the stock. I know I've said that about Tilray a little bit earlier, but all the markets will rise if this is heading to new all-time highs, right off the MRI buy on a weekly scale in the stock market. All right, that is it. I took a little bit longer than I should on Bitcoin. Now we can talk a little bit of other stuff. Man, where do we begin? I'm not going to talk much about the Ukraine-Russia situation. I want to talk more about COVID. I need to catch up on my COVID news. I've been spending all my time catching up on the Russia-Ukraine situation, on the geopolitics, instead of the medical tyranny lockdowns and things like gene-altering therapy. So I'm spending less time on that than I probably should. I do want to close the chapter on that, so I have a bunch of links I want to just tweet out. I don't really want to write anything up on the COVID stuff on my blog, but I will be writing up the Russia-Ukraine situation on my blog. Man, I was looking for a background right now, and so on my backgrounds, I had a Ukrainian background from like a year or two ago. Because as you guys know, I'm a huge fan of Ukraine and half Ukrainian, but I also have a Russian background as well, because I am half Russian, though I do identify as Russian more than I identify as Ukrainian, because that's where I grew up and lived, and I don't speak Ukrainian, but I do speak Russian. And I had a background that is half-half. Let me flip back to Ukraine here. These were the backgrounds that I had. I had one that's like half and half. On both of them, but we're gonna stick to the moon background. Someone will definitely take that Russian background completely out of context, but that's okay. Once it gets tweeted, I can tweet out the screenshot of the Ukrainian background. Speaking of Russian, I will be on a Russian-speaking channel. I'll be on Forklog in a few hours. I think in about 3 hours from now, I will be on a Russian-speaking channel talking Bitcoin. I highly doubt they would ask me my opinion on their geopolitical situation. Have the last 2 years changed your opinion on democracy? Should idiots have the same vote as sane and rational people? Maybe China and Russia have been doing it right all along. That's a tough question, right? I will never say that China's been doing it right all along, because the last place I wanted to be during the COVID lockdowns is in China. So the US certainly handled it better than China. Okay, way better. I mean, like, it's debatable whether you prefer an anal swab or an up the nose rape swab. The anal swab, which they were doing in China, may seem well, less pleasant, or more pleasant for some, but it's less damaging to your body. Okay, so like, for example, if you've never had an up the nose COVID swab where they swab that, it's been done to me twice, and never again. Like, never again. I will punch the guy in the face that would try to do that to me again, right? Like, that's never happening again. I will not go to the country if I would be forced to take another one of those swabs. Like I said, I've had it done twice. Once in Dubai, when I landed in Dubai, they were doing that. And once in Turkey to leave Turkey. So I'm never doing those again in my life. That's over. So obviously China didn't do it right. The lockdowns in Russia were not, they were middle tier, right? Like, for example, the lockdowns in California and New York and other communist states were worse than Russia. But the lockdowns in Florida and Texas were not as severe as Russia. So Russia was, say, on par with the US as far as the medical tyranny and lockdowns. I believe Russia is less tyrannical about the vaccination. Don't hold me to that, okay, at all. While Ukraine is more tyrannical about the vaccination than Russia, because the Ukraine follows the World Economic Summit and Klaus Schwab, World Economic Forum, and Klaus Schwab, and he's the champion of tyrannical, the communist way. So even though there is the elected democracy, right? So Ukraine is, a more of a democracy. So speaking of all of this, right? I added a video to my video description, and let me see, where are we here? Yeah, that's what we did last time. Okay, so let me post something up. I have exactly 10 minutes. Can you review the Costa Rican currency? I didn't even know Costa Rica had a currency. Like, I really had no idea. Yeah, I can look at it. So that's just such a strange request that I'm gonna look at it. It's not even like a currency I have on my list. CRC versus USD. Whoa. Well, what's going on here? So this is, no, something doesn't look right. Maybe it is right. I gotta flip this. USD CRC. I can't look at it the other way. Okay, so the Costa Rican currency reminds me of Venezuela. Like, this is a disaster. What the hell are you guys doing over there? You don't even have a military. Like, what are you wasting your printed money on? I don't know what they're doing, but whatever they're doing, the government of Costa Rica is being very stupid about it. And like this is insane, right? Like, this is how your country is gonna have a, like, if this keeps going, you're gonna get a little color revolution on your hands there. This is not good. I really want to go to Costa Rica, but this could end very badly. They need to, whatever the hell they're doing, they need to stop. Costa Rica needs to open tourism. They see, you know what crushed Costa Rica? Some idiot at the government of Costa Rica said, we're now going to demand a vaccine. and everyone canceled their flights to Costa Rica. And then they came out and said, whoa, we're sorry, guys. We didn't realize that the entire world would just cancel all travel plans to Costa Rica. Our only actual source of revenue is tourism. We apologize for requesting of you to get a vaccine. We're sorry. Come on back. And no one saw that message because no one gave a shit at that point, right? They've made other plans to go visit other countries, okay? Canada is the same way. Canada decided to confiscate people's bank accounts. And then they said, whoa, that was a bad idea. Thank you, Klaus Schwab, for making me do this. But I kind of want to live till my 31st birthday, Trudeau, maybe 21st birthday, based on how he's acting. And he's like, whoa, we're going to stop doing that. And the world said, we see what a communist you are, and it's over, right? Hopefully. So, see, dumb ideas don't actually need to be implemented. They have to be announced for the world to see, and people react for a long, long time. So there you go. So Costa Rica is in trouble if this continues. So the sooner Costa Rica does what El Salvador did, hopefully in a bull market, unlike what El Salvador did, with bad timing, and it would be great for Costa Rica. And Costa Rica will be even more decentralized because right now, without our military, Costa Rica is pretty decentralized. Now, ideally, you want no military and gun rights. I don't know. How is the ruble doing? It's a good question. FX. Should probably add Costa Rica to my list. It's definitely not on my list. USD CRC. And let's see how the ruble is doing. Oh, that's a monthly chart. Okay, that makes sense. Am I buying the ruble? No, why would I buy the ruble? It is still depreciating, right? So if the ruble goes below this low, that literally means the US is in trouble. This is the free market-ish. The problem is there isn't much free market in the ruble right now. There really isn't. They kind of stopped letting you freely trade it. But if the ruble appreciates against the dollar below this low, that means that the US is losing and Russia's winning. That's how I would see it. Yeah, Yuri Bezmenov's video was great. If you haven't seen it. Oh, Ukraine's totally been played. It's not it's been played. So speaking of that, so this video has been at the top of my description from the very beginning. So this video has been at the top of my description. This is a 2015 video by Professor John Mearsheimer, can never pronounce his name right, he's a political science professor of University of Chicago. You guys know I'm not a huge fan of academics, but he's been great. So that was the one and only thing I've seen of him in this presentation explaining how Ukraine's going to get wrecked in 2015. It's an absolute must watch. So yesterday, I was sent the following video of him from 2 weeks ago, but in Russian, right? So someone took this video. This video is now in my video description as well. Someone took this video and translated it into Russian, like dubbed it into Russian. Now with subtitles, like you barely hear him speak English in the background, and they translated it into Russian. So someone sent me that and I listened to it and I'm like, yeah, but I need the original in English. See, this is the advantage that I have. I can somewhat read Russian, not very well, but I can certainly speak Russian and understand Russian, so I can validate translations. And I'm not very good at translating, but I can certainly validate translations if they're accurate or pure bullshit. So I listened to this in Russian, but I had to find the English version. So early this morning, I was on a mission to find this in English. And I did. And this is now in my video description from 2 weeks ago, March 4th. And it's an absolute must watch as well. Now, then I discovered also this morning, actually like half an hour before this video, I discovered that this is not the full video. This is 20 minutes from this video. Now, this video is not in my video description, but it should show up. So this is the video where that's from. So they basically, it was a back and forth discussion between multiple people, but someone only took his part, probably because his part was the only one worth noting, and kind of cut out everything that he said into a single 20-minute video. So as far as I know, this is not like a lie or misrepresentation. It's his part. It's his 20 minutes out of this 1 hour and 40 minutes. Now, for journalistical integrity, I will watch this entire 1 hour and 40 minutes. Just so I'm sure that they didn't like take him out of context in this 20-minute video, but I do have this 20-minute video posted. Now, also last night, I happened to watch this video of his. I mean, he's got a lot of videos, and this is about 2 years old. So from about 2, this has nothing to do with Ukraine, but Ukraine's mentioned in passing. This is a really good presentation that he did, and I strongly recommend it. I don't have it in my video description. I could only put so much in my video description. I'm going to start making playlists. And this particular video was him, and it's great. Like, I never even thought about it this way. He basically explained how in the 70s and 80s, like 60s, 70s, and 80s, the world had two superpowers. It was the United States and it was Russia. Now, the Soviet Union. Now, you may not have seen the Soviet Union as a superpower, but American global diplomacy had to account that if they pissed off Russia, everybody dies, right? So American foreign policy had to counterbalance Russia, like, but then Soviet Union, sorry. But then the Soviet Union collapsed, and the world, or from the American perspective, like the world went from, you know, a dual diplomacy world to a single diplomacy world, right? So only the United States had the power to spread its geopolitics around the world. So between 1990 and up until February 24th, when Russia stepped onto the border of Ukraine, up until that day, the United States has taken the liberty of what he describes spreading liberal democracy around the world. There's no one there to stop us. We will spread our political structure of liberal democracy, and we're going to start with the Middle East. And that completely failed, but in any case. And now he's saying the United States, geopolitics at the top, anyone that doesn't belong in a nursing home, has to realize that we went from 2 countries calling the shots to 1 country calling the shots for 30 years. And right now, we're going to 3 countries calling the shots. And those 3 countries are the United States, Russia, and China. And the US, politicians have not yet realized that everything they do and say on the global stage, every document they sign, every soldier that steps foot on a piece of land around the world, unlike the last 30 years, now has to counterbalance that decision with China and Russia. Because if China or Russia don't like it, the US is going to have a serious problem, as you see what is happening in Ukraine. Okay. And this was a great presentation. It's 2 years old. It was done in February of 2020. It's exactly 2 years old, 2 years and a month. And it's great. And he explains, how the United States made a big mistake in making China as powerful as it is earlier than it otherwise would have been. And he also explains how the US made a mistake of creating an enemy out of Russia instead of a friend out of Russia to keep China down. And because of both of those mistakes by the United States, plus the mistake of spreading liberal democracy across the Middle East, which has grossly failed, like those mistakes have led us to the current situation. This was an absolutely great presentation. You really need to check out Scott Horton interview on Bitcoin, on what Bitcoin did. Okay, guys, you will. This might be the first time in history. So when I go to what Bitcoin did, this is Peter McCormick's podcast. As you guys know, I'm not a fan of Peter McCormick because I believe he is a statist. So I'm not a fan of Peter McCormick. When I go to his videos, for some reason, it's telling me that I have watched his videos with Matthew Pines. I don't know who Matthew Pines is. I'm sorry. I did not watch this. It must have been on in the background, chewing up my cell phone data, which sucks. I did watch the Scott Horton interview with Peter McCormick. It's 2 hours. Peter McCormick spoke a total of 5 minutes in cumulative across that 2-hour interview. And I thought that interview was very good. Okay. And I've never heard Scott Horton before either. That was the first time I got familiar with Scott Horton. And the interview was very good. It's not in my video description, but I would recommend it. I did hear it. I did not hear this, even though YouTube is telling me that I did. Okay. Yeah. So good point. The Scott Horton interview on Peter McCormick's show was very, very good. Okay. I'm already late. All right, guys. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you.